Hi, this is Kirk, the bariatric carnivore. Well, Richard Nixon pointed out something that was really interesting to me many years ago. And he said that the Chinese symbol for crisis was made up of two other symbols. And keep in mind, Chinese language is a picture-based system. It's not a phonetic alphabet like we've got. And crisis was made up of the symbol of danger and opportunity. And we're in that situation right now with Trump's nomination of Robert F. Kennedy Jr. as head of HHS, or the Health and Human Services Department. There are great dangers, but there's also a tremendous opportunity, and maybe this could be a real game changer. And a lot of people that I respect are following it and are all very excited about it. But I want to, from a political perspective, which is the area that I work in, look at it from the danger side and also from the opportunity side. Keep in mind that elected officials and their designees and their cabinet secretaries, as far as the bureaucracy is concerned, they're temporary placeholders. They exist, but they believe that the permanent bureaucracy is really where the power is, and many of them have their own agendas. So that has been often called the deep state, and it exists. It is a very real force. Many of the people at the top levels of Washington, D.C. Have tremendous contacts with the media because they've been there for 30 plus years, and they know all the people, and they talk in the same circles. They see themselves as a real force behind government, not the elected officials. So they're going to be problematic in this. They are going to be digging in tooth and nail because, look, most of the bureaucrats that work over at DHS, they don't want to necessarily stay there on a government salary for the rest of their life. They want to go over and earn big bucks in big ag and big pharma. And that's why they keep doing so much of their dirty work over there. So they are a force. Keep in mind, big food, big agriculture are trillion-dollar behemoths. They're huge. And, I don't think we can really comprehend the fact that they can buy and sell most governments around the world. That's how big they really are. And the stock prices of Big Pharma took a major hit just because of the announcement of Kennedy going over to HHS, which is, to me, kind of cool, but at another level, oh crap, because now all of a sudden you've got your enemy's back pinned up against the wall, and they are going to come out with all their teeth, and they're going to pull out all the stops. So, and keep in mind, they own the media. Look at, watch the news. What are they selling on there? What are the commercials? They're ultra-processed foods and drugs. Drugs make up 30 to 40% of the ads. Those that pay the piper tend to call the tune. They are going to be pulling out all the stops, getting all their buddies in the big media to put as much, they're going to demonize this guy. And it's coming. Not a darn thing we can do about it, but that's the danger. The opportunity is this. Right now, trust in healthcare, doctors, hospitals, and public health officials is at the lowest point it's ever been in American history. We're talking about less than 40% of Americans trust their doctor when it comes to healthcare issues. And it's even lower with public health people. So when these guys start complaining about Kennedy's saying that he's going to be anti-vaccine or whatever charges they're going to be attacking him on, that he's anti-science, that he's going to be hurting women's health and stuff like that, 60% or more of the population just isn't going to believe him. So that's a big plus. Trust in the media is even lower. So that's from a point in history where we could actually start to see these changes, where we happen to be in a very unique situation where that could really happen where most people are getting their news and information from social media, from people they trust, YouTube videos and Twitter and stuff like that. That's where most people are getting information from, not from the big pharma backed stuff. Doesn't mean that it doesn't have an influence, and unfortunately a lot of members of Congress and elected officials listen to them, but not the average population, the people that actually vote. And we saw last Tuesday that you count. I mean, your vote does count, and it does change history. So that's one of the opportunities that are there. Hopefully Trump, one of the first things he will do is make it illegal for big pharma to advertise on television. And he can do that with an executive order. And that would be a great thing, because now all of a sudden his biggest enemy, the media, would have a reduction in their budgets of over 30 to 40%. That would send shockwaves throughout the whole industry. And that could be fantastic for getting real discussion dealing with health issues to actually happen. It's not going to happen overnight, but it will change the culture over time. Because right now they're self-censoring, because they can't run an ad pointing out the dangers of polypharmacy, because that's who's paying their salaries. I mean, when 40% of your salary is coming from big pharma, you don't run stories attacking polypharmacy. So that could be a game changer. All these things could all work together and really change the whole situation. And the other part that I think he can do better than anybody else is change where we put our research dollars. Right now, HHS is spending a lot of money basically helping pharmaceutical companies, subsidizing their research. There's not much research into lifestyle. And this is the stuff that really, frankly, the government should be funding as far as studies are concerned, because nobody else can do it. There's no money in it for big pharma to do studies. There's no money in it for anybody that wants to run a study showing the dangers of ultra-processed food or some of their chemical additives and stuff like that. So as a result, it isn't getting done. And we live in an era of evidence-based medicine, but the problem is almost all the evidence is corporate sponsored. It's what allowed Tufts University to create a food scheme for healthy eating that said Fruit Loops were better for you than eggs cooked in butter. That is, ridiculous that, ultra-processed food is better for you than real natural food. But that's where we are, because it's the best science money can buy. And frankly, the biggest source of money for this stuff is big ag, big food. Trillions of dollars going into this stuff. And the government is also complicit in it, because most of the bureaucrats can't wait to quit their government job and go start to work for RJR Nabisco or Purdue Pharmacy or whatever. They don't want to be there forever. All they have to do is play ball. So this is the danger and opportunity that we're seeing. There's a lot of great opportunities that are there. Hopefully some of them will actually happen. Don't hold your breath thinking that everything is going to change overnight. It's going to take decades to get everything cleaned up, but this could be a great start, and they could create the mechanism for how to start funding studies that government should do. I mean, think back a little while ago. There was somebody did a study where they said, okay, which works better for seasonal allergies, Claritin or ginger? Turns out ginger worked better, and it had almost no side effects. And there's other benefits that came with it too. But that's not a study that is going to be funded by anything but government. And the government that happened to fund that study was India. It wasn't our government that did it. And as a result, it never got a lot of coverage over here. That's the problem. So hopefully we will start to see this type of change actually happen, and it will be great if it does. Now, one of the other cool things that I just have to point out, because it is just such vintage Trump. I knew that, whatever role Kennedy took, there was going to be a lot of opposition to it. Well, what did Trump do? He didn't just go, hey, we're going to put Kennedy in charge of HHS. No, what he did was he put the guy who's going to be head of Department of Defense, who is not one of their inside guys. So that's one of the biggest hunks of the budget, and those guys started freaking out. And then the intelligence community went completely ballistic when they found out that Tulsi Glamour has been nominated to head up the Defense Intelligence, all the intelligence committees. And then Matt Gaetz is nominated to be Attorney General, which gives him all the tremendous power of the Justice Department to investigate different departments and other people and companies, etc. So all these things kind of all work together, where the deep state is completely freaking out and has to fight multiple fronts. Then he throws in Kennedy, and we start to see the stock prices drop. They're kind of beside themselves. They have too many enemies to deal with all at once, and that's not a bad thing. And I think it's rather brilliant the way Trump did it. So hopefully he will continue, his approach. This is 4D chess. This isn't going to be something that's going to be done easily, but he's doing it with some thought, some purpose, and that's great. So this is Kirk, the Bariatric Carnivore. I promise I'm going to get back to talking about health-related issues, but I just had to throw this in one more time. I try to put out a couple messages each week. If you like this message, please hit the like and subscribe. Share this message with other folks. I will talk to you again soon.